Hey, it's me, Hrishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business and current affairs.
You know, I don't want to be judgmental here, but I always feel that women have a heightened sense of responsibility.
Yes.
And for a woman in her late 30s to get up and say, I want to have fun now, takes a lot more than a man in his late 30s to say the same.
Yes, it does.
And that must have been an interesting part for you to dig your teeth into.
It is, but I don't think any woman, or very, very, very few women, consciously wake up at the end of their 30s or early 40s and say, oh, I'm ready to have fun now. I think it's life throws you some curveballs, and then that's when it kind of hits you in the face that, you know what, I actually haven't had any fun. You know, so when does that start? When does the fun actually start in life? You know, is it going to be, so I think that is really what it is. Even with Vasu's character, I mean, she comes out of a 19-year-old marriage with an 18-year-old in tow, you know. Her life has pretty much been about, you know, her husband and her daughter and all of that. And that's what she thought life was about. It was okay. It wasn't a bad life, but it never put her front and center of her own story. And that's what she literally takes the reins off and starts, you know, driving that the way that she wants it to go, or riding that the way that she wants it to go.
So Christmas is a big thing. Are you doing the tree, Sarah? Are you decorating?
I am. Christmas is a big thing at home. It's our biggest thing. I haven't spent a Christmas away from my folks in 43 years.
Wow.
So it's always a very traditional time as well. And yeah, it's going to be the huge big Christmas lunch and the midnight mass and the carols and the tree and the presents, and the family keeps getting bigger every year, so it's all good.
Yeah. Prateik, Lara, Kunal, what a pleasure to see all of you. I hope you're all double vaccinated.
Yes, we are.
I'm waiting for my booster shot. I'm ready to get my booster.
So am I actually. I'm a Covaxin recipient, so I'm like now overdue a booster. Whenever they do decide, we're just letting you know.
That is an entirely different interview, but for the record.
I took the Parsi one, Covishield.
Covishield, yeah. Brand ambassadors. So it is wonderful that you're able to live vicariously through your character.
Yes, don't you think?
I think so too. I mean, I've seen classy Lara, straight Lara, wonderful Lara, but crazy Lara is a good thing.
Crazy Lara is a super thing. I also think Crazy Lara in her 40s is even better.
How is she like this? It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, the word 40s is not uttered by most actresses, and that's why you love her too.
That's why I love her. And it's been a great ride, and it's been a smooth ride. And you know, for all the crazy things that you've seen her do, it was not like I had to convince her that, oh, you know what, don't worry about it. Oh, you know what, it's not going to be like this. I didn't spring any surprises on her. She knew exactly what she was going to do and was fully ready for it and wanted to do it, to do something that was out of the ordinary and to do something where we all felt like, you know, we're creating some fun content. We're saying some things as well. We're talking about a woman in her 40s exploring her sensuality, sexuality and life again after 20 years of being in a marriage. And at the same time, an 18-year-old daughter exploring her sexuality, and sandwiched between them is their brother, is her brother, who's 35 and is bored of the dating game and bored of making money, and suddenly falls in love with someone who's like him, who doesn't want to fall in love. So it was fun. It was fun to do. And then, of course, there are parents thrown in who they don't get along with. And there
just
are
your
friends.
Normal, regular family.
Just a normal, regular family, normal, regular people with a lot of friends and family that are mad and, you know, kicking up a job in the middle of not having a job and walking out of a job and saying, I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I don't want to do this. That's what I know. So there's so many shades to the show, which I think a lot of people will relate with. Right now, people are just seeing the saucy, hot, juicy stuff.
Yeah, the risky stuff. You're right.
But there's a lot more of it.
Prateik Babbar, my deepest condolences because you're not playing Lara Dutta's love interest. My really deepest condolences, but you signed up to play her brother. But nevertheless, it's obviously still a pleasure. And
absolutely,
I like this whole dating app thing. And you know, CEO of dating app, whoever thought of that premise just completely nailed it.
Absolutely.
And the standard boring journalist question is, have you ever been?
I haven't. I've said this earlier. I'm petrified of dating apps because of obviously the image, and people know me as an actor, and also I've seen for myself that things can go wrong when you actually you actually meet the person. But I have lived vicariously through my friends and their dating profiles and apps, and they totally use me and use my picture with them so they can get more swipes, and but yeah, it's I've kind of peeked into their phones when they're on a dating site and swiping left and right, and it's a exciting world, the dating app world.
I don't want to be judgmental here, but I always feel that women have a heightened sense of responsibility.
Yes.
And for a woman in her late 30s to get up and say, I want to have fun now, takes a lot more than a man in his late 30s to say the same.
Yes, it does.
And that must have been an interesting part for you to dig your teeth into.
It is, but I don't think any woman, or very, very, very few women, consciously wake up at the end of their 30s or early 40s and say, oh, I'm ready to have fun now. I think it's life throws you some curveballs, and then that's when it kind of hits you in the face that, you know what, I actually haven't had any fun. So when does that start? When does the fun actually start in life? Is it going to be, so I think that is really what it is. Even with Vasu's character, I mean, she comes out of a 19-year-old marriage with an 18-year-old in tow, Her life has pretty much been about, her husband and her daughter and all of that. And that's what she thought life was about. It was okay. It wasn't a bad life, but it never put her front and center of her own story. And that's what she literally takes the reins off and starts, driving that the way that she wants it to go, or riding that the way that she wants it to go.
This is a very, very interesting point, and I'll tell you why. My wife, who's in her mid-30s, says that whenever she and the girls, her girl gang, go out to a club, there are all these young boys who will come and hit on them. Because the perception amongst young boys is middle to late 30s woman, raging hormones, there is a chance. Obviously the girls humor them, make fun of them, they run off with their tails behind their whatever.
We do let them buy us free drinks though.
Yeah. So she'll come back and she say, we were hanging, three of us, and all three of us are married, we have kids, and this guy with a swag, 20-something fellow, comes up and tries to act fresh with her.
But let's admit it, as boys, when we were younger, okay, as men, when we were younger, I mean, you're still very young, but when we were younger, or at least when I was younger, that was always the fantasy. An older woman, when you're in your 18, 19, 20s, a woman in her 30s is like the holy grail.
The gold standard.
The gold standard. You want that because, there's experience, there's everything, and then there's, it's
just to break it to you guys, not every housewife is a desperate housewife. Okay?
Exactly. But when you're 20, you don't think straight.
Correct. It's all about the cougars and the whatever. But she's right. It's not always the case.
And it's totally something to brag about with your guys. Totally something to brag about, and you totally, kind of makes you, the cooler one if you're the only one in the pack who's done that. Then they kind of look up to you and be like, oh man, this guy's a dude,
So, well, that just comes down to one thing that, sorry for plugging in our show, that it just shows that the reach and the demand for a subject like this is from every quarter. We're not just targeting or talking to women in their 40s or girls in their 20s. It actually talks to everybody because somewhere, like a Venn diagram. Why am I giving maths references
I don't know, dude.
today?
It's just like gone off.
It just overlaps with everything. It just overlaps with everything.
So I was with Rani Mukherjee yesterday.
Yeah.
And I asked her a very loaded question. I mean, what do you ask somebody who's been in the business for so many years? And I said, what is a film that is just completely memorable for you? She said, Hum Tum. I don't know if she tells Kunal that, but and she said, just the point of time they were in their lives, and the magic that happened with that film.
What a film!
And all of us obviously agree. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And here you are working with the man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we could do this behind his back, but he's here in the frame, so we have to do it in front of him. So talk to me about that experience. Look at the legacy. I mean, there are actresses so many years down the line, and you're meeting them for a current film, and you're still talking about that masterpiece.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. That was actually one of my key reasons to say yes to this project, was him and her. Before even reading the script, I got a call saying, hey, there's this show for Lionsgate, directed by Kunal Kohli, Lara Dutta. Yeah, I'm in. What's the script? What's the story? And then it was a double whammy. It was a great script and a great story, and I was sold, and I couldn't wait to be in. And it was a gradual process of getting to know each other and jamming on the script and the characters, but I think it just fell into place beautifully. I think everyone was very involved and very passionate about the entire process, and yeah, it was. I mean, we everybody got on like a house on fire, I think, the first day of set. And it just snowballed. It just snowballed, yeah.
Can I just add something here?
Yeah.
Sorry, because you mentioned Rani and Hum Tum. I don't know what it is. I just realized. So there was Rani and Hum Tum, and there was Kajol and Fana, and there's Lara and Hiccups and Hookups. They're all strong women characters, really strong women characters, all three of them. And I hope this show achieves the status that those two films have achieved. And I have, and I think one of the reasons for that is that all men try to think that that they're ladies, that I'm a ladies guy and all that. But I would like to believe that I like to listen to a woman's point of view, and I can pretty well understand a woman's point of view. My wife will not agree, my daughter will not agree, my mother will not agree. But at least in my cinema, there's some reflection of that. Because I strongly believe that you cannot make a strong film about a love story, a relationship, without having a strong woman. If Simran was not strong in DDLJ, there's no DDLJ. If Rani is not strong in Hum Tum, there's no Hum Tum, there's just Hum. You take any film. If in Mughal-e-Azam, her character is not strong, there's no Mughal-e-Azam. You have to have a strong woman around whom everything is, going around like planets on the sun. I didn't use a maths analogy, but there.
Yeah, which is why your actors say these vibrant things. We were zooming with Richa, if you remember, and Richa Chadda said the same thing about you.
Yeah. And you have to have it, because it is just, women are like the sun. They make all us planets go around them. But that's the, it's just the anchor. And then everything, all the plot points in all hit films have to be centered around a woman, unless it's an action masala film, that's different. But in a romantic film, in a family drama, brother, sister, the sister has to be strong. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. I mean, we hardly have any films on brother, sister, but when you do, the girl has to be strong.
Lovely.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Our friend, who's our producer, was just telling me about this girl, and she plays your daughter, and she says, man, she looks like a firecracker. She reminds me of Asanya Malhotra, which is a compliment, because amongst the new breed.
Yeah.
She's so a little bit about her. I mean, looks stellar in the promos. So I'd like you to do the honors.
Yeah. So I mean, Shinova obviously is auditioned for Kunal for this show, and everybody across the board, including the studio, Lionsgate, was like, "Oh, this is by far the strongest audition that we've seen." And obviously, Shinova and I don't really look like mother and daughter very much. I mean, I kept worrying her through the film, ki kiski beti hai, because I mean, even from our hair to everything else, I mean, Shinova's hair is a whole personality in itself. But she is, I think what Shinova brings to the show, and I'm pretty sure on the 26th of November when the show comes out, I mean, she's going to be a little bit of an overnight star that's going to hit the screen. But she brings, she's really young, she brings this, this laid back, chill, cool, edgy, kind of a vibe that none of us could get, even if we tried really hard. I mean, it's ingrained, it's natural. And I think so she was a really perfect fit. She also, when she came in initially, had obviously a little bit of a, like, oh my God, it's Lara. How the hell am I going to react to her like my mom? And then from the first day it started, you don't look like a mom. How am I supposed to react to you like a mom? I'm like, I am a mom. You're just maybe a couple of years older than my daughter. She's going to get there in a bit. But yeah, I think I love the fact, and I said this to Kunal as well, I actually don't think that Vasu and K have enough in season 1 at least. I feel like that's something that we need to really sort of amp up when there is a season 2. But we share a bond which is very different from the one that I obviously have with my 9-year-old, right? I mean, I love the fact that lots of moms says that, oh, I'm my daughter's best friend. But I don't intend to be my daughter's best friend. If I'm her best friend, who's her mother? So I want to be my daughter's mother. I would like to be a friend to her as well. But here, because of the age difference, and the age difference isn't that much, you have a mother and a daughter in a way that are actually pretty much in the same dating arena for a change. Yeah.
I saw that thing about.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a 40-year-old where the dating world has completely changed from the time she went on her last date 20 years ago. She doesn't understand this swipe right, swipe left business. She's got a brother who's created the damn thing. She's got a daughter who's like got her own life. That's something that mother doesn't even know about that's going on over there. So it's literally, she's got 2 experts on either side of her teaching her the tricks of the trade. And I love that relationship that exists actually between all 3 of these characters.
Thank you for casting Nasir and Divya. I mean, I don't see enough of Nasir Abdullah. I mean, where is he? He's under a rock. It's so nice to see little bits of him.
on TV debates.
Yeah, I mean, I see more of him doing. He should be doing this. Just fine. Divya is so lovely. I mean, it's so great to see them.
Divya is a cracker.
You have a
this
Divya
show.
Seth fan club here.
Me too.
You have a Divya Seth
But she
fan
says she
club.
lives in Pune and she only comes to shoot and all that. She's got her own priorities.
Yeah.
But she is so much fun. The mother's role has been written in a way where I wish there was so much more of the mother. We were talking about that the other day. She comes in towards the end. Her presence is there all through. She comes in towards the end and she just takes the last 2 episodes to another level. As a personality, as a person, she is so good to work with. She brings so much to the table. I think genuinely, and it happened with a lot of my actors, including both of them here, if the role was here, they took it here. Divya Seth was another one. The role was here, she just took it through the roof. And the personality, the persona, everything. And she played it to the T.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she actually, like when she would look
We're
at her,
like,
talk
the
to
two
them,
of us are like seriously damaged once Divya's been done with the 2 of us.
So, father and son have a release of course, him on a platform that can't be named.
Yes.
But that's a new feeling, man. I was with him, like I told you, day before yesterday. Yes. He's incredibly proud. He also has a series out, The Great Raj Babbar.
Yes.
How does it feel for you?
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling, I think, to see him, act again and find this new zest for life again. And it's very cute, and I can't wait to watch him. He looks so cute in that in his look and his character. I can't wait to work with him.
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Hopefully that happens at some point in my life.
Just put it out there and it'll happen. Like they say.
Yeah. But and I'm happy he's got a few of his older colleagues with him, Padmini Kolhapuri and Poonam Dillon. So he's having fun, and I'm happy. I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for him. I'm so thrilled that he's doing what he loves again, and
I want to ask you, I mean, is it that you feel less vulnerable now, Lara, or you feel I couldn't care less? Or were you always like this and you didn't get offered parts like this? Because I was telling Shad this, because I saw you on that series, again, on a platform that can't be named, where you're just a role that I wouldn't imagine you doing. I mean, it was you with all your vulnerabilities, everything there. You were playing Lara Dutta, or a version of Lara Dutta. And here you are doing this. So is it you didn't get the opportunities earlier, or has your perception to your own work changed?
No, I think I was always like this. I think age liberated me, and I'm so glad about it. I think it just set me free. It stopped limiting people from wanting to cast me just as another, glamorous face, or just as another comic actress, or just as another, someone's wife, someone's girlfriend, sort of roles that were invariably what were on the anvil or on the offer earlier. And I think it's truly liberating that once you cross that peak and nobody has to constantly cast you in those kind of things, that they can actually think out of the box and look at things to cast you separately, which is why I can play Indira Gandhi on screen for Bell Bottom, and then I can go ahead and do something like this a few months later, and whatever else is coming out. And I think it's the best time of my life. I think it literally has set me free, turning older.
So I love that line, age is liberating.
I said liberating.
Yeah.
It's a lovely line.
Wow.
I think it's wonderful. And it's so true. Worldwide, if you see, Clint Eastwood is near 90 and he's still directing films. Almost a film every year or every 2 years. And the roles that are written globally for women at any and every age.
No, but I feel I'm very fortunate. I am very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to make a statement like that, because 10 years ago, any actress in her 30s, her career was over. So for me to be sitting here in my 40s and saying that, my God, I'm having the best time of my life. I mean, and the content that I want to do, I'm just getting started on it, and the opportunities are there. I think I'm very, very fortunate to be able to make that statement, because it didn't exist for the people that came ahead of me.
I messaged your wonderful husband Mahesh when you guys were in London, and I said, let's do a chat on Breakpoint. And he was kind enough to say, come on, man, let's get on Zoom. And I asked him about your film parts, because we did a half an hour on the documentary, and I said, I couldn't resist. I said, I have to ask one question on Lara. So I said, what do you think? The makeup and the prosthetics and Mrs. Gandhi. I like her without the prosthetics. I like her without the prosthetics. Was the only answer I got. The one-liner.
Yeah.
So that pretty much ties into what Kunal said. Maybe my wife and my daughter don't feel this way, but this is the way I am. I want to know about your writers. I mean, I love the line Prateik says.
Baba is lating.
Baba is lating.
Yeah.
Lating.
So you obviously have to have somebody with great comic timing to write or come up with lines like that in a series. Stand-up comedy is a different art.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedians use that stuff all the time. But to weave it into dialogues is an art. So I want to know about your writers.
Indira Bisht, she has headed the writer's room. She is such a wonderful writer. And she's one of I've worked with very few writers. And I've worked with even fewer writers who have not had fights with. But Indira, whenever I suggested, she was like, okay, let me make that change, let me do this. She was so open to change. She was so open to suggestions. And the material was so good. She's done such a wonderful job with the writing. And there's so many things like this. There's so many lines like this. There's so many things like that which are coming up, which you'll see, which have a lot of gravitas, which have a lot of fun. Which are very funny, and but yeah, so she was truly wonderful. She's done a great job, and I hope she matches up in season.
I think
2.
half our job was done because of the writing.
Man,
Absolutely,
the writing
we had
Hiccups and Hookups on Lionsgate's Play. Please get a subscription. All of you are listening, watching, and watch Prateik, Lara, Kunal at their finest. Before we wrap, one last question on Christmas. And Prateik, are you taking time off?
And one more thing. It's
26th?
not just on Lionsgate Play.
Okay, yeah.
Here we can, because it's Hiccups and Hookups, so Lionsgate Play has hooked up with a lot of other platforms.
Sweet.
So Lionsgate Play is also on Amazon. It's also on Apple TV and on GeoTV.
and Airtel.
So no
that's a lot of
excuses
hookups.
मेरे पास app नहीं है.
हाँ,
Airtel Extreme.
बहुत हाँ.
So
बहुत
November
apps पे Lionsgate
26th,
Play है.
November 26th, wonderful.
on Lionsgate Play.
So just a wrap-up question. I mean, Christmas, New Year plans. Are you taking some time off, Prateik? December, January?
I think I do have some time off. I'm thinking of making a trip to the mountains.
Ah, nice.
I'm thinking, contemplating. I want to go and
In the north,
in the north, yeah. I want to wear some warm clothes and roam around in the winter.
I just came back from Kashmir. Lovely.
Yeah.
Must go.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So Christmas is a big thing. Are you doing the tree, Sarah? Are you decorating?
I
and
am.
all?
Christmas is a big thing at home. It's our biggest thing. I haven't spent a Christmas away from my folks in 43 years.
Wow.
So it's always a very traditional time as well. And yeah, it's going to be the huge big Christmas lunch and the midnight mass and the carols and the tree and the presents, and the family keeps getting bigger every year, so it's all good.
Yeah. 1st of December, we take out the tree. We do it up, and I don't know, now my daughter's turned 11, otherwise for the last 5 years we have this elf on the shelf who comes on the 1st of December, and every night she shifts place because she goes to Santa and she reports back what's happening. Though now my daughter said, I don't believe in Santa. She's 11, but and so then I, with my broken heart, asked her, but what about elf on the shelf? Yeah, she's still cool. So
I was going to volunteer services to dress up as Santa, but now that she doesn't believe,
yeah, she doesn't believe in Santa, but she still wants the gifts and the presents. And I would love to do a Christmas lunch. I did that for a couple of years, then I stopped. And
Lovely.
I think I might just do that again.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, Prateik.
Thank you.
Kunal.
Thank you.
Thank you.